Greetings, what's going on? It's Tanisio Natanasainima representing Nature's Candy Farms. Thank you for joining me again. And on this episode, we're going to go ahead and get our hands in the soil because we are fastly approaching the spring season. And I want to make sure that you know how to properly amend your bed so that you get the best plants possible. I'm going to be going over all the different soil amendments that I use and explain to you how those can help with root growth, with the growth of your leaves, with healthy flowering to attract pollinators, and many other benefits. So make sure you stay tuned, strap on your seatbelt as always, because you are on another ride with Garden Like a Boss.
Shalom, my name is Eliyahu Ben Asa.
And I'm Shalom Yale.
And this is Atlanta Harvest. Our family's been growing organically grown fruits and vegetables and meats and teas for homes across Atlanta for the past 10 years.
We also build gardens and edible landscapes for homes and communities.
And when we're not doing that, we listen to Garden
Like a Boss.
So, as a professional grower, one of the most important things for me to take into consideration to make sure that I have a healthy farm or garden is soil health. And so I'm one of those individuals who definitely likes to use compost. In fact, that's probably the foundation for most of my soil. However, every few seasons, especially during the springtime, I like to add some extra nutrients to my soil. So I want to go over with you what some of those different amendments are that I add to my soil that again provide those nutrients that I speak of. Let me show you what I'm talking about. One of the first amendments that I'm going to go over is alfalfa. Alfalfa is actually a legume that when you add it to your soil, it improves the soil tilth as well as it releases nitrogen to the soil, which is very beneficial for the foliage of the actual plants that you are growing. You need the leaves to be able to absorb light through photosynthesis, and the healthier the leaves are, the better the plant can photosynthesize light. A staple of any gardener or grower is lime. And lime is nothing more than pulverized limestone, which contains calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate, which makes soil less acidic and more alkaline. I also use azomite, which is a volcanic ash deposit, and it supplies more than 70 micronutrients to my plants. Next up is peat moss. Peat moss actually helps hold moisture and nutrients and then releases them to the plant roots as needed. And last is green sand, which is high in iron, potassium, magnesium. It even loosens the soil, improves moisture retention, softens hard water, and it increases root growth. All right. So when applying your amendments, one of those amendments actually requires some preparation, and that's the alfalfa. The reason why is because this particular product comes in pellets, and I want to be able to actually dissolve those pellets back down into an actual fiber that I can use in the garden in a way that the plants can actually take up. So what I'm going to do is show you how we actually turn this product back into a non-pelletized form. So we literally cut the bag open, and as you can see, it's literally just a whole bunch of pellets. Next, we'll actually pour the pellets into an actual bucket. And we will fill that bucket up to the halfway mark. Last, we will top the entire bucket off with water. After that, we'll simply wait roughly 30 minutes, which is plenty of time for the alfalfa pellets to absorb all of the water. Now, while we wait for the alfalfa to complete its absorption of the water, we can start to add the other amendments to the bed. I'm going to go ahead and put my amendments in my bed here based upon the size of this particular bed. However, if you'd like to learn what the ratios are, feel free to hit me up and I'll be more than happy to give you that information. But let's get started. Also like to feed your bed that has plants already in it, then you can simply apply the amendment the way that you see me doing in this video. All you'll simply do is create little small rows of dug out soil in between your plants, and then you apply an actual scoop or whatever the volume may be that's required per amendment to the actual rows so that they are then distributed evenly to the roots of the plant after you cover up those amendments with the soil that you dug away. Alright, so a full 30 minutes has passed, and I've applied all of the other amendments to my beds. However, I'm losing sunlight. It's nighttime. So I'm going to go ahead and let this alfalfa dry for the rest of the evening because it still needs a little bit more time to soak up the water before I can apply it. As you can see here, it has somewhat of a soupy texture to it, and I would prefer that it looks more dry. And so I'm gonna go ahead and let it sit overnight, and then I'll come back in the morning and apply it so that you can see exactly how we add the alfalfa to our garden bed. All right, y'all, so it's the next day, and my alfalfa has definitely had plenty of time to soak up the water. In fact, if you take a look here, I mean, it is nice and powdery. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted those pellets to have gone from being in that hard coagulated state into something that I can actually pick up and dissolve into the soil. So to apply the alfalfa to our bed, all I have to do is simply pick up a handful like you see me doing here, and then begin to rub it back and forth like this in the actual bed. And normally for a bed of this size, I would probably do anywhere from 2 to 3 handfuls. I think I'm going to do 3 for good measure. Again, because alfalfa is a legume, it's basically a green manure that allows me to add nitrogen to my bed. And so all I'm going to do is simply mix it in just like I did the other amendments. I'll do that in some of my other beds, and then it'll be time to plant in these beds. So as you can see, making sure that you plant your plants in a bed that is fed with the right nutrients coming from the right amendments is essential. You know, one thing I've always been taught is that farmers and gardeners are not necessarily responsible for taking care of the plants because nature does that, but we're responsible for taking care of the soil. So I challenge you all to make sure that you learn these techniques and others, and feel free to hit me up if you have any questions at naturescandyfarms@gmail.com. And until next time, let's grow together. Peace. Thank you all once again for watching another episode of Garden Like a Boss. Make sure you check us out on YouTube at Nature's Candy Farms and hit that subscribe button. And of course, you can always check us out on social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram at Nature's Candy Farms. You've been listening to music by the one and only D'Angelo, and the name of the track is Instrumental Number 5. I'll check you all next time. Peace.